As a little kid, I was a huge fan of SpongeBob. I had all the episodes on VHS, all the merchandise my mom could afford, and I even had a SpongeBob room. The walls were painted yellow with green holes. But after the SpongeBob movie, the episodes they put out were complete crap. I could no longer watch the show, and I got tired of it. One night it happened to wake up at around 1 a.m. and decided to watch TV. I scrolled through the guide, and it said an episode of SpongeBob was coming on Nick at night. I found it strange as SpongeBob usually doesn't air this late. I thought I would watch it for old good time's sake. I still wanted to watch the episode, and the time card showed Rock Motto. I didn't remember this one. It must be a new episode. But I swear for one split second the episode saw a face. The episode began with a picture of SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward acting still in a group photo, which was very uncharacteristic of Squidward, as I remember. But something was very odd about that photo. Where the trio's eyes should have been, there were only black holes. I found this very off, but I remember that the new SpongeBob episodes were like this, so I kept watching. The screen became staticky, but through the static, it showed Mr. Krabs skipping rope with his own eyes. It then cut to black for a second, then showed SpongeBob staring off into a black sky with a giant, hyper-realistic Squidward looking back at him. It then showed a still picture of Patrick carrying a hammer with a 2x4 nailed into his head. The hairs on his stomach read 666. He was talking in a very distorted voice, so much so that I could barely understand a word he was saying, though I could swear it was his SpongeBob quote from Lost Identity. The screen went static again and it showed SpongeBob with black dots for eyes. He appeared to be carrying a knife and was missing a tooth. The next part was the worst. It was a picture of Plankton, very light static. He had this horrifically disturbing face that was so detailed and scary that it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand straight up. The screen is zoomed out of SpongeBob's TV. "Ha, that was scary, huh, Gary?" SpongeBob said to his pet snail. I felt relieved that it was all just a program that SpongeBob was watching. Then there was a knock on the door of SpongeBob's pineapple home. "Come in!" the yellow SpongeBob shimmed. Then Patrick appeared, his pupils missing. "SpongeBob, I have to touch you!" Patrick then disappeared. SpongeBob looked out his window frightened. "Hey, a box!" He walked over to the box. "Hey, who's there?" Patrick's laughing can be heard in the background. Then showed Patrick advancing towards SpongeBob. The screen then cut to black, though SpongeBob's horrified screams can still be heard. His eyes open and he sees Patrick with black holes for eyes holding a knife. It then said alternate scene, but that was just SpongeBob and Patrick jumping into the box. The animation then got jumping and showed a picture of the Krusty Krab behind a completely black sky. "The Krusty Krab!" SpongeBob's voice proclaimed. SpongeBob's finger puppet appeared on top and the camera went inside the Krusty Krab. The camera was as if it was a 1930s cartoon. The screen was gay, but SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs had all enlarged features, while the extremely disturbing Plankton was in the background. "Ah, that's better." But then SpongeBob's glove world flashlight went out. Patrick's laughing can be heard in the background, and for a second, a disturbing Patrick with very little features can be seen. "Hey, if I close my eyes, it doesn't seem too dark." SpongeBob's famous line is followed by him being eaten alive with spiders. SpongeBob then proceeds to run. The next few scenes were very staticky. An extremely disturbing SpongeBob appeared through the static with real features just as disturbing as Plankton and Patrick's. It then showed a picture of SpongeBob with black eyes for a second, then Squidward choking on a fork while it zoomed in on a picture of the Holocaust. Then a still of Squidward hanging Patrick with black holes for eyes. It then showed an episode of Roseanne, but I was so scared about that time that I could barely even blink. Every time I did, it showed an image of Plankton. It still haunts my memory to this day, and so does the rest of the episode. I tried to tell people, but they didn't believe me. I don't sleep that much since I watched the episode. Every time I do, I wake up with cuts on my eyes and remember this episode. Please, someone help me. So, you know Nyan Cat, right? The little cat in a Pop-Tart going for space with the most catchy song ever? Yeah, him. Well, there's a backside to this. When Nyan Cat first came out, the site Nyan Cat came out. It was the same idea, just a cat going for space. People got addicted to it. Eventually there was a timer to see how long you could do it. But one kid in particular claimed that he could do it the longest without sleep. His name was Jim Shafe. So he made a record of nyanning for 5 hours and 56 seconds. Maybe we'll try it, but only one beat it. Another guy named Michael Willis tried for the record. He nyanned for 8 hours straight. People saw it too. He sat there like a zombie just staring at the cute little cat. But the next day after the record, he said there's something wrong with the cat. So John got intimidated and went to his bed. He beat the record for a long shot. How he did so, no one knows. But he said he could have gone longer. But his reasoning of not was kept his secret. But his close friend finally got it out of him. He said that John claimed that in the final minutes of his journey, he said the timer stopped at 666 minutes and 6.6 seconds. It was unbelievable. His close friend Matt went to see if it was true. The next day Matt went at it, but it was worse than he expected. It stopped perfectly 666 minutes and 6.6 seconds. But there was more. The cute little Nyan Cat turned horrible. His face went blue and his eyes were red, and the whole space scene behind him went red, with pictures of mutilated people that said they'd try Nyan Cat. Then the song went a horrible dark pitch with the sounds of people screaming in fear. Matt was absolutely shocked. He tried to sleep, but with no success. In his dreams, all he could see was the evil Nyan Cat's face, taunting him, and when he woke up, the song wouldn't get out of his head. So Matt ended it all with suicide by hanging himself. The next day, Michael and Jim were found in the same apartment dead. With scratches on their abdomen that spell out, no one succeeds. The scratches appear to have come from a small cat. She closed her eyes, tilting her head to the heavens and rattling a dead man's laugh through her tears. Her sobs chopping the already coarse laughter into waves of madness. Slowly, so slowly, she sunk to her knees and clutched the sides of her skull, not even caring about the blood that now stained her once white gown, climbing up the fabric like macabre bits of ivy. She saw it. Again, she saw it. That horrid bracelet upon her wrist, imprisoning her and driving her to the darkest corner of existence. Damn it all! How she longs to tear it from her body. No. Take off the whole arm. Cleanse herself of anything that damned piece of plastic touched. And oh, the fog. It was here. It was coming. Draping itself over her with its seductive hands of sleep. Dragging her down. 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 A tightening around her stomach, wrists and ankles. She opened her eyes for the first real time, seeing nothing but the whiteness of hell's lights glaring down at her. You gave us quite a scare, whispered one of the demons, his voice dripping in false concern. But don't worry. You'll feel better soon. The slightest prick pinched her arm, the feeling of surreal giddiness coming with it. She looked down at herself with heavy eyes, where the snake of sin wrapped around her body, pressing her down against the ice-cold table. Heaving a shuddering sigh, she allowed the hands of sleep to carry her back into the darkness. Shut it down. The doctor looked down at the watch. Time of death, 3:13 a.m. He shook his head and gently closed the woman's eyes. Her family? Asked one of the nurses. She doesn't have any, he muttered, pulling the sheet over her head. She didn't have anyone. The nurse sighed and leaned against the wall. And she had just started to recover. You sometimes see that there, the doctor said. Sometimes you just give up. Her condition is a tiring one. Sometimes they can't fight anymore and just succumb to the disease. And when a disease affects your mind, death isn't a very steep drop from insanity.